Colborne, a freelance journalist from Canada based out of Prague, who covers Central and Eastern Europe, including Ukraine. So, hi Michael.
Hello. Well, thanks for having me.
Can you tell us how long have you been in Kiev?
I've been in Kiev now for about 3 weeks, and I've been working on several stories here. But before that, I lived and worked here throughout May and June last year for about 2 months working on stories. And then before that, in the years were running together, 2015, 2 different times for several weeks at a time. So I don't live in Kiev, but I've spent a lot of time here, living here for medium and long periods of time. So I think I have still, as an outsider, a lot of perspective on what the city is like and how it works. So.
But why did you decide to visit Ukraine?
Why Ukraine? It was because I visited here for the first time as a tourist in, I think, 2012 or 2015, and found it interesting. And also, where I'm from in Canada, there are a lot of people where I'm from in Canada who are of Ukrainian descent. So Ukraine is, obviously, it's a country that's foreign, but it's a country that maybe to other people in the West, it's not as foreign. Like we're familiar with, for example, I went to high school with people who went to Ukrainian bilingual programs, so there were people who spoke Ukrainian. So to put it politely, everything happened in February 2014. I was living in London at the time. I was actually not doing freelance journalism, but I was working as a researcher, like a social market health research, as it were. I was following events here very closely, and I think was deeply affected or impacted by what was going on here. And as I ended up changing careers into doing freelance journalism, Ukraine was one of the places where I felt that I had something to contribute, even if my Ukrainian language skills are zero and my Russian is очень плохо. But so I obviously I work in other countries too, obviously based out of Prague, because that allows me to cover different countries in Central and Eastern Europe, including Ukraine, because I feel that there's, for some of the types of stories that I like to write about, for example, I'm writing about HIV and AIDS right now. There's not a lot, there's some, but there's not a lot about those types of issues in this country that are written about in English. So what I try to do, what I know about Ukraine and what I know about other fields that I work in, particularly around health, social issues, working with disadvantaged groups or minorities, for example. Like I've written about the situation of Crimean Tatars in this country. Those are the sorts of things that interest me, and I feel that there's a need from the Ukrainian perspective to have them written about in English, and I'm here to try to do that.
That's good. But what is the most interesting fact about Ukraine that you have learned during the living in Kiev?
During my time here, and this is a point that I make to other Canadians, to other people from the West, is that Ukraine is a much more diverse country than people often think it is. For example, in Canada, I think we often think that Ukraine is just, it's a country where everybody speaks just Ukrainian all the time. You think that the entire country is like this microcosm of Western Ukraine, where a lot of Ukrainians emigrated to Canada. When you come here and you spend more time here, one, you learn that, of course, there's multiple languages spoken here, Ukrainian, Russian, and that language politics exist, but they don't exist at the same time. But also you find that there's other ethnic groups. You find out about Ukrainian Tatars, and especially their situation post-2014 with the annexation. You find out about Crimean Tatars, you find out about, even with all the horrors of the Second World War, the large Jewish community in this country. You learn about the diversity of different parts of the country are completely different, or not completely different, but different parts of the country have their own cultures. In many ways, for example, I've been to Odessa, and I know enough about Odessa that it's, in a lot of ways, people there are very different from other parts of Ukraine, even as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong. the language that they speak, even the Russian that they speak, might be a bit different than the rest of the country. I don't know where you're from in Ukraine, but yeah.
From a central part.
From central Ukraine. Yeah. So even your experience might be different from somebody who's grown up in and around Kiev here versus somebody who's grown up out in Donetsk, even Kharkiv, or in Dnipro, or wherever else. I think that's a point that I always hammer down, reinforce to people from the West, is that this isn't some sort of monolith of a country where everybody is the same. There's so many different things going on. There's there is really so much diversity, or cultural diversity, linguistic, religious diversity even, and it's a much more varied picture than a lot of people in the West know.
But what is the difference between Ukrainians and Canadians?
Difference between Ukrainians and Canadians. I think I find it interesting. Well, that's a huge question, as you know, of course. That's good. I like to ask very large questions and make people think, so you're doing a good job there. But for me, there's a difference in the way, like, when Ukrainians interact with each other in public compared to what I perceive, how I think us Canadians interact. Ukrainians sometimes seem to be more direct. Like if there's an issue at a public place or a restaurant or just something, there's a Ukrainian will go and be much more direct, go right up to the front and say, like, hey, there's something wrong with this. Whereas a Canadian will kind of politely will wander over, with obviously doing it in English. If you wouldn't mind, there's a bit of, I just couldn't help but notice, like the way that we speak in English. This is actually something that when English speakers learn Russian, particularly, I haven't formally studied Ukrainian, but I believe it's largely the same. But when we speak Russian, we have to get explicitly told that we don't have to structure our, if we're asking somebody for something, we don't have to structure our sentences in this way. It's like, oh, would you mind, would you like to, whereas Ukrainians, and also, obviously not just Ukrainians, but I find particularly Ukrainians, just even when speaking English, it's a directness that Canadians don't, that we don't have because we're Canadians. That's just how we are sometimes. So.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
You can start about Russian-Ukrainian conflict, military conflict on the east of Ukraine. Why do you think Russian Federation has attacked Ukraine in 2014?
Why do I think they attacked Ukraine? I think it was in response to the Euromaidan and all the events in Kiev around 3 years ago. I think it was. It was, I think, overall a step to try to destabilize the country, to destabilize Ukraine, because in principle, and I think it still holds now, a Ukraine that is looking more towards the West, that is more democratic, less corrupt, more of a model society than Russia. That's something that Putin in Russia, I don't think, can accept. If Russians look to Ukraine and see, oh, they revolted against their corrupt leader, look how much better their country is becoming. He can't allow that. He can't allow Ukraine to succeed. Ukraine, for him, doesn't necessarily have to fail, but it just kind of has to. Ukraine, for him, just kind of has to be plodding along, not terrible, but not, like it has to, for him, it's almost like it has to be held back. And the way to do that is to try to invade part of the country and try to effectively use it to hold the country hostage. That's how I see it.
But how other countries should react on this action?
How should other countries react? I think, in my opinion, some of the reaction over the past 2 years, I'm not sure if it's been strong enough from the EU, from Canada, from the United States. There's been sanctions that I think have been effective, but they haven't changed what Russia's doing. For me, I think the key, particularly as we get into 2017 with a new president in the United States, as we all know. The key is to not let what we call in English in journalistic terms Ukraine fatigue, to not let Ukraine fatigue set in, which to me means, I think, to not let this country fall off the back burner for where there's international funding for different types of programs and assistance that comes to this country. It's important to keep those things going and to keep also pushing the country to reform when reforms have, in my opinion, obviously a lot of people's opinions have been quite slow. I think it's important for other countries to not effectively look at their watch and say, oh, Ukraine's still, they're going slow with their reforms, they're not doing this. Like, we just need to give up on them. The key is to avoid that and to realize, yes, of course, there's still many challenges that go on in this country with trying to make those reforms real. The key from other countries, and particularly my own, is to keep hammering down the point that support for Ukraine is still critical. It's still needed.
What would you like to recommend all of our viewers who will watch this video?
That's a very good question, actually. I think, particularly as a Westerner coming here, if your viewers are from English-speaking countries, or Canadians, or Americans, or British people, Australians, wherever they might be from, I think the key is to come here, if you've never been to Ukraine or, say, another former Eastern Bloc country, I think the key is to come here with an open mind, to come here and not come here with any preconceptions about what the country is or what the people are like based on what movies you've seen or what you've read or the fact that you're reading all these articles about war. The key is to come here and, like I said, come here with an open mind and really talk to people, try to understand what people are really like. And of course, part of that with an open mind comes when the first time you come here as a Westerner, even if you don't know any Russian or Ukrainian, you can still get by. That's what I found my first time here, even after when my Russian and Ukrainian skills were, I think, were barely there. I could barely read Cyrillic, but I found that there's despite whatever stereotypes or preconceived notions that people might have about this country, there's a lot of people like yourself that speak English and speak it quite well. So especially in Kiev, you can, as an English-speaking person, go out and you can talk to people without knowing, you can learn a few phrases, and if you want to know what people think, they'll tell you. And I think that's what's key, and that's still something I still try to do, because I come here to write about certain types of stories and to try to understand also what Ukrainians think. And because I'm not from here, I don't have family here, it's not like I'm tapped into how people are thinking, the way like you might be able to go home on a weekend and talk to your parents to understand how they're feeling about the situation. Obviously I can't do that, and with some language facility I can do it, but it's important to just to talk to people here, to really understand what they're like, to learn from them about their country and their city. And so I think that's what's key, is to not come here thinking Ukraine is X or Ukraine is Y. Come here thinking Ukraine is an interesting place. I know a bit about it. What more can I get to know about it? That's, I think, the mentality you need to come here with. Even somebody coming as a tourist for a few days, I think that's the best mentality to come here to have, and you'll learn a lot. So.
Michael, thank you for joining me and sharing your thoughts.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
It was very interesting to work with you.
Oh, thank you.